Welcome to my Friday LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live. Today we are talking about how to make work awesome. AWESOME. That's awesome. Um, if anyone was a cheerleader in your early days, you might remember that cheer. So, uh, First of all, let me introduce Blue Rebel Works. Our mission is to improve people's lives by making work awesome. So this is so important. This is just everything we do is all aimed at making work awesome. Whether we are working with organizations to shift their entire culture, working with leaders to develop their own personal leadership and the performance of their team, or working with individuals who we call leaders anyways at any level to really develop themselves and how they interact and how they deal with situations at work. We are all always doing it with an aim to improve people's lives, to make work awesome. You are going to spend probably around 90,000 hours of your life at work or doing work. So that's a long time. And in my mind, nobody wants work to suck. Nobody wants work to suck. And yet I do see so many people going to work every day, sort of feeling like they're losing a little piece of their soul, right? Feeling that dead inside feeling. And so my mission is to create a world where nobody goes to work feeling that way, and everyone has some skills or some tips and some hacks to change that and to turn work around and make it awesome. So I have had awesome jobs and I've had work that sucked, but I've always been able to find ways to improve my work environment, my relationships, what I was doing every day, how I was feeling every day, no matter what my role was, whether I was an individual contributor or the head of HR. So there are things that everyone can do. Everyone has the power to make work better, to make work awesome. I imagine a world where people wake up on Mondays and they are saying, TGIM, thank God it's Monday. So if you're here with me in the comments, give me a TGIM if you agree that it would be awesome to live in a world where people are waking up on Mondays in that way. And TGIF is a thing of the past because our work week is so fabulous. I want to hear from you in the comments. Give me a yes and a TGIM. Okay. I imagine a world where fun isn't just something that happens after work or on the weekends or at the work party, but it's actually work is fun. We have fun while working. It's one of the things when I go in and talk to leaders in organizations and people in organizations, and I ask them, when are the best times you've had at work? And when their best time is always the Christmas party or the holiday whatever, or the Friday night beers after work, I get a little sad because I want your actual day-to-day work lives to be fun too. I imagine a world where people come to work able to do their best work, to realize their potential, to feel like they made a difference, and where they still have energy for their life after work, right? So many of us at the end of the day, we are just drained. We've given our everything to that work day and we don't have anything left for our families. So I imagine a world where we're able to live our best lives work-wise and life-wise because they help each other. I imagine a world where command and control no longer exists because, let's face it, nobody wants to be told what to do, right? Nobody wants to be told what to do. And when you're telling people what to do, you're actually hijacking their accountability. So since I left the corporate world about a decade ago almost, we're celebrating 10 years in business this year, so that's super exciting. But since I left, I've been really spending a lot of time researching what are leading organizations saying about employee engagement, about motivation, about high performance. And I've talked to hundreds of leaders about what makes work suck for them, what makes work awesome for them. I've been looking at behavioral science and taking neuroscience classes, and I've realized that so many of the things that I did to make work better for myself is backed by psychology and neuroscience. And so today I'm going to share what we call the Make Work Awesome model and a few tips for anyone at any level, whether you are running an organization, whether you're a leader of a team, or whether you are an individual contributor. I'm going to share some tips or some things to think about to help you make work awesome. And by the way, I have this little note up here because this Tuesday, June 22nd, I'm going to host a live 90-minute workshop, live Collaboratory workshop, where we'll be sharing ideas with peers about what makes work awesome and how to make work awesome. And you'll be able to leave with an actionable tip to take back to your own workplace at that workshop. So check out the link if you want to join us. Free 90 minutes this coming Tuesday. So I would also love to hear, as I go through the awesome model, what makes work awesome for you as well. First, I'm going to share a couple of the pieces of research that I think is really core to a lot of what makes work awesome. So, Great Place to Work. Many of you may apply for their to be a Great Place to Work certified organization, so you might be familiar with the work they do. But over decades of research and decades of surveys and seeing who's most engaged workplaces and great places to work, the core that they've found is trust. And some of the elements that they identify in creating this trust is managers who treat people fairly and respect everyone. It's also teammates at all levels who take pride in their work and who have a high level of camaraderie. So organizations that create the atmosphere where people can create camaraderie and take pride in what they do every day. So that's some of the Great Place to Work research. Dan Pink's book Drive is one of the things that helped to change the way I thought about work. So if you missed my live last week with Jody Thompson from Culture RX and our discussion about results-only work environment, Dan Pink and his book Drive, where he talks about what really motivates people, purpose, autonomy, and mastery, that helped to change the way I thought about work and leadership as well. Basically, what he found was that for anything other than a really simple routine task, purpose, autonomy, and mastery are the things that help people to be motivated. It's not these if-then rewards. If you do this, then you'll get this, that actually motivate people. He found that that kind of reward actually demotivates people and gets lower performance when the task is anything that requires creativity or thinking. So purpose, autonomy, and mastery is another piece that's really core to what makes work awesome. And then I also love the work by Amy Edmondson out of Harvard and Google's study that found basically that psychological safety is the core element of high-performing teams. So psychological safety being how everyone on the team feels free to speak up, to challenge different ideas, to bring ideas to the table, and to not be judged or have fear of repercussion if they have a different idea or if they try something that doesn't work. So that psychological safety is so core to high performance and to our well-being at work, that lack of judgment. So we've developed this framework for what an awesome work environment is like, and I'm going to share it with you. And what I would love to hear, though, is what makes work suck for you? So if you are here, I would love for you to, in the comments, share with me what makes work suck. Let me know, and I'm just fixing my screen because for some reason I can't see your comments. Just let me see here. So let me know what makes work suck for you. This is the question that you are answering while I figure out how to make your comments show up. Where are your comments? Dun, dun, dun. Let me know what makes work suck. I am going to share a couple of the things that we hear often. And Okay, some of the things that we hear often. Oh, look at I see you all here. Hi Jackie, hi Rosita, hi Anka. It's so nice to see you. It's been a long time. Patty, yes, heck yeah. Let's make work awesome. Love that. Thank you for getting involved in the conversation, Patty. Patty and I used to work together. Bring it on. TGIM, yes, TGIM, thank you. Okay, oh, thank goodness, now I see you all. Completely agree, the carrot approach is so outdated. We are all adults full of potential. Yes, Anka. Okay, so I'm asking what makes work suck for you or your colleagues? And I'm seeing some of the things coming up. So I see Jackie saying redundancy and administrative tasks. Yeah, we hear that a lot. When I feel like the work is just kind of administrative, doesn't really help anyone, there's not a lot of meaning here. I hear miscommunication. I hear gossip and finger pointing. So tell me in the comments what makes work suck for you or your colleagues. I hear things like this always on judgment for taking time off for life events or, for anything when you're not directly responding to an email immediately. I've heard lack of information when information isn't shared to help you do your work. I see Anka saying the focus on time at work versus what we accomplish. Yes, oh my gosh. If you missed, like I said, my live last week with Jody, we talked all about this. So much of our time is spent focusing on work or focusing on our time at work, which is such it just doesn't make sense. So yeah, I see not capitalizing on talent from Rosita. Yes, like let's get everyone being able to bring their best selves and do their best work. I see no one listening. Yes, when you don't feel listened to, when no one asks for your opinion, we as leaders at the top of the organization, you don't know what's best for your clients, your customers, the people closest to the work know. So how do you make sure that there's an opportunity for them to share? So making sure people feel listened to and engaged. I see lack of opportunity to collaborate from Anka. Yeah. If you're not able to share and discuss with your peers, and this is something that we have to be super intentional about creating the space, and I mean like digital space, if we're working remotely. In today's world, a lot of us are working remotely or in a hybrid world. How are we making sure everyone is getting that opportunity to collaborate when it makes sense and making sure that that's available to them? I see lack of balance, work versus life. This goes back to how do I make sure I have some energy left at the end of the day? How do we get less focused on time? Now, Patty may be familiar with some of the different workplaces that I've worked in. I have worked in places where it almost literally you could almost see the badges of honor, and I personally wore them too, that said like I'm working so often, I can't take a weekend off, or I was here all weekend, or I was here until 8 o'clock at night, because that's what got rewarded, right? And when what we reward is what people think is important. So if you're rewarding time, we lead to lack of balance. I see no training or support for new leaders. I see, let me see, Anka, no training or support for new leaders. I see no time for fun. Yes, okay. So many of these are the same things I hear about what makes work suck. So let's flip this and talk about what makes work awesome. We don't want to get stuck in what makes work suck. We want to also take a look at what makes work awesome for you. So now flip it and share with me in the comments what makes work awesome. At the end of the day, when are those days when you leave work going, I would have done that for free? Like, what makes work awesome for you? I know for me, the biggest thing is feeling like I made a difference to people. Every day I'm working with leaders in our leadership development programs where I'm able to see them trying something new with their teams or doing something different at work that's making their work environment better. And that makes me so engaged and happy with my work. So what makes work awesome for you? Is it that collaboration, being like, feeling like you're able to be part of a team? Is it the freedom to get work done how you want to get it done? Is it learning new things? Is it being able to contribute new ideas? So tell me in the comments, what makes work awesome for you? What are the things that stand out to you of those days when you leave work going, that was the best day ever? Healthy relationships from Rosita. Yes, healthy, respectful relationships where you are valued with everything you're bringing to the table. Love that. How about, I see Anka saying, solving a problem for someone else, no matter how big or small. Yeah, when I feel like I've made a contribution to someone else and helped them do something better or make their work or life better, no matter how small. And it is in those everyday moments, those tiny little interactions, that often the best parts come. We often don't even realize what difference we're making to people. So tell me more about what makes work awesome for you or your colleagues in the comments. Okay. Now, I am going to jump into our model. I'm going to give kind of an overview today with a couple of tips. And on Tuesday, like I said, we are doing this free 90-minute live collaboratory. The link is in the description, either on LinkedIn or YouTube, so you should be able to find that. But hit me up in the comments if you can't. Just tag me so I can find your comment later. So what is our awesome model? Let me pop the whole thing up here. And where are you, awesome? Here we are. Okay, so here's our awesome model. We have, after all of the different research, the different work that we've been doing with culture, leadership, we have identified these seven things that are happening in awesome workplaces. So there's personal accountability. We'll talk about what that means. Whole self, empowerment, high levels of empowerment. And I actually struggle with the word empowerment because it is the feeling that someone gave you that power, but we needed an E. So I had to add that empowerment. But I really think that this is just power, giving people autonomy, power, freedom. Safety on and with your team, opportunity to learn, to grow, to develop, meaning and purpose, and emotional resilience. So I'm going to break these down one at a time. So let's start with accountability. So accountability is about it's not about I am holding you accountable to do this thing. It is about everyone taking personal responsibility for themselves and their work. So from an organizational level, this means you need to have a really clear vision and objectives. It needs to be clear what the priorities are for, where you're going, what your mission is, so that people can take personal responsibility for their role in that. So if you're an organization and you're not really clear about purpose, vision, this is a must do if you want to create an accountable organization. If you are a team leader, one of the small things that you can do is start really thinking about what you're recognizing people for and not recognizing them for their time, which is not accountable for objectives or outcomes, but recognizing them for their outcomes, for what they're actually doing, the work, rather than, because I can't tell you the number of times I've heard people recognized and it was because they came in late or worked all weekend to get a project done. And when we're doing that, we're really setting ourselves up for lack of accountability for results. We're making people accountable for spending time, and that is going to create a really toxic environment. So recognize for results and behaviors, not for time. And then if you are an individual at any level in an organization, you can always create higher levels of accountability. You also have a role in creating this kind of culture. And one small thing is just to strive to do your best, no matter what you're doing. I often go back to this phrase, and I'm not sure who coined it. If you know, pop it in the comments. The phrase is, "This will be my masterpiece." So when I'm thinking about something that I'm creating, whether it is a LinkedIn Live or whether it is a spreadsheet, I want that to be awesome. I want to always strive to do my best. And so even if you're not a people leader or a manager or running an organization, you can help to shift the organization's culture in this way of personal responsibility by personally striving to do your best and role modeling that. So those are just a few tips. Now, I would love to hear in the comments, scale of 1 to 10, what would you say the level of kind of this personal responsibility version of accountability is in your team or organization? 1 being, yeah, pretty low. We're really stuck in the someone has to hold people accountable in order for them to take responsibility. 10 being, no, people on my team, we all are personally responsible, striving to do our best, really looking at the outcomes of our work every day. 1 to 10, let me know. I would love to hear what accountability looks like for you. Now, I'm going to move on to our W in awesome. So W is all about whole self. This is about diverse groups of people, everyone being able to feel like they belong, being included, feeling like they belong. And I love what Brene Brown says about the difference, what belonging is. And so it's not having to fit in. Belonging is the absence of having to fit in, right? I can't remember her quote, but it is like being able to bring yourself to work. So diverse people feel like they belong, they're valued, and they can be themselves at work. So if you are an organization and you have not gone deep into equity and inclusion work and really looked at what your senior levels of management look like. Are people represented, diverse people represented? Looking at neurodiversity, racial diversity, cultural diversity, all different forms of diversity, and making sure everyone can see themselves in your organization and see opportunity there, then you really need to go deep into this work. Secondly, if you are a leader of a team, really making sure that you understand, people, like you have to get to know people personally to do some of this. And then you're able to value their diverse strengths, what makes them different, and really look at what everyone's bringing to the team. And then if you are just an individual at any level in the organization, just be your best self at work. Bring what makes you unique and different to work, and bring your ideas and the best parts of yourself, your strengths into your work every day. So those are some tips on bringing whole self. Now I would love, again, and I see from that accountability, I see some 6s and 7s. So not super high. So think about whether you're a leader or an individual contributor, or whether you have impact on the whole organization. Is there one small thing that you can do to drive up that accountability? Now, do the same for whole self. Let me know. Maybe give me a W and a letter, and a number, so I can come back to that and see where your scores were for the different letters. So W and scale of 1 to 10. How much are people of all different backgrounds and experiences and neurodiversities and all of that, how much are they all able to feel like they belong, are valued, and be themselves at work? 10 being that's high, 1 being that's low. Give me a W and let me see that. Okay, whole self. And by the way, as I'm going through this, I would love to hear anything that you've seen be helpful with any of these. If you're doing something great in your organization to make work more awesome in any of these ways, let me know in the comments. Okay, let's take a look at the E, empowered. Now, I told you I do struggle with the word empowered. This is really about people being free to use their strengths to do great work. And in order to do this, trust needs to be there, and trust starts at the top. You have to give trust. If you're a leader, you have to start with trust. So if you are an organization, you want people to have more autonomy and feel more empowered. You need to enable them with tools and information and resources and training. So take a look at how information sharing happens at your organization. Do people have the technology that they need? Are they able to access the information they need to get their job done? Making sure that they have everything they need to take that autonomy is important. And this, by the way, is totally linked with accountability. If you give autonomy without being clear about your vision and purpose and where you're going and what the objectives are, then you're not going to go the right place. So you need both the accountability and the E. A and E go together really closely. If you are a leader of a team, then you need to trust your team. You need to get out of their way so that they can get great work done. Be clear about what the objective is. I love how Brene Brown talks about painting done. So paint what done looks